Hello and welcome back to SNHU Esports live from the Connection Esports Arena. It's a little bit sad coming back from the NECC break week. I felt like I missed so much esports last week, but we're back with League of Legends, getting back into week number 9, picking up after that break week. So we're gonna go and hop into draft for our game of the night: SNHU Blue versus uOttawa Gray. This is the last team in our division that we haven't faced yet. Week 9. This is the last week before playoffs.
Yeah, it is. I'm very excited. I'm kind of glad that we had an off week, just because I wouldn't have been in. So I want to kind of cast everything.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. It was nice to get a little bit of breathing room, right? Yeah, definitely for sure. But this here is pretty big match right now. Getting to the end of the season, wrapping up here, just getting back into the swing of things as well. Playoffs are next week. So that's a pretty big deal. Be sure to definitely stick around our Twitter and all our social media like that. Be able to find all sort of updates about what our arrangements for playoffs are next week, because it's going to be a very chaotic and very fun week. But as we get into draft here, SNHU right now currently banning out the Darius and the J4. These are pretty good target bans. Going up against uOttawa Gray. These are definitely two champions that they play a lot.
Jarvan's
we're talking there.
Still so good right now. They nerfed Jarvan a bit with the W, and it didn't do anything. I didn't expect it to. But yeah, target banning Darius is pretty good. But Melio coming out from uOttawa, I actually don't know how good competitively Melio is, because I haven't seen it very much.
It's something that a lot of people haven't seen very much, right? It's going to be brand new. Some people seem to think it's really good. Some people haven't really formed their opinions on it yet. But I think banning it out here is pretty safe, even if SNHU didn't plan to play it. SNHU are going to round up their bans, though, with that Nyla ban, also a big target ban, and one, unfortunately, that I would have kind of liked to see go through. We've never seen Nyla on stream here.
I would love to see Nyla. I don't actually know how good they are, just because I haven't seen them that much. They're really well paired with a lot of like enchanters, like Soraka, Yuumi,
and they're like a melee ADC more so. So
they play like Yasuo.
They're very composition dependent because of that. Yep. So you don't get to see too many teams that actually try and fit that Nyla in there. But we will see Draven come out first pick for uOttawa Gray. Also something that they play quite a bit. So we're seeing very much just kind of holding on to these comfort picks. Draven, of course, is a comfort pick for a lot of players. Also a very deadly pick if he's able to get out of hand. A Draven main is very scary because they usually know exactly how strong they are at every single point in the game. They know when they can pressure you, and they know when they can compound their lead even more.
Yeah, and Draven's such an early game bully, and then the gold snowballing as well is just crazy. And
it can be rough.
The lifesteal that Draven can get, like, that's crazy.
It can be rough.
Draven mid used to be meta because they just build Bloodthirster and then they just win because you just autoed. Why was that a thing?
We're seeing for SNHU here, their first pick was Nautilus, and I think this is great going into uOttawa Gray's bot lane. Whatever it's going to be, the Draven is going to seriously be hurt by the presence of Nautilus in that lane. He's really not going to have a lot of room to actually push forward, but a Thresh might kind of try and even things up a little bit. The moment Nautilus goes in, that whole front line is going to open up a lot more. Thresh just has to kind of be careful by his position.
I would have loved to seen a Braum. From what I hear from Draven players, Braum is like one of the worst into Draven.
Braum is in a weird spot right now because he's one of the least played champions in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in an awkward spot right now. Even if he might be good at this,
win rate did bump recently.
That's true.
Vi coming out, I think, is very good in general because
this is a very common pick for SNHU.
It just diving. It's very general. Like, you can peel with it as well. Nautilus, I think, is also very good. First pick, I think Nautilus is very underutilized character in general. It's been Enchanter meta for so long. Very glad to see that come out. But yeah, I don't think you're really going to be able to engage onto a Thresh though because of E. Because of Nautilus hooks, you can just E Nautilus away, and they may hit their auto, they may not hit their auto, depending on if they buffer at Samira. Okay. That character I thought got nerfed recently. I feel like this is a little too late.
It's weird. It's weird because Samira did get adjusted recently. However, into Draven, I can totally see this being a good matchup, right? You're able to just completely destroy a lot of his autos, and that can really, I mean, with how much Draven's autos chunk, just getting rid of one of those autos can buy you so much more time in a fight.
That's true as well, and then also the axe throw.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like, Draven's axe throw just means death because you just get so many autos on top of you. Like 4 autos from Draven could just mean death.
And if you're able to get on top of Draven, that is one of those instances where he's actually weak. You know, you really do want to be able to just close the distance and actually get to him. You don't want him to be able to sit behind his tank. So I think Samira, really, really interesting choice here. Only concern is Thresh. I mean, obviously, if Thresh tries to hook, you can wind wall it and try and destroy it. Still going to be difficult to not get hooked as Samira, because you're going to be in the front line constantly.
And then you get the problem where, like, Thresh hooks, right?
Yeah.
And you avoid it, but then you could get flayed, or then you could get Draven W'd. There's a lot of CC in the lane that Samira can't really deal with, that it's going to be hard if Nautilus isn't there or body blocking properly on top of the Thresh. I could see it turning well, but Samira is also one of those very volatile characters that if they get behind, they just lose, but if they get ahead, they win.
Yeah, it is also worth noting as we look into our ADC pick for SNHU Blue that we did have a little bit of a swap in positions. Proma swapped over towards ADC and Suki swapped over towards top. Previously, those were inverse, so Proma being down in the bot lane means that we're going to see a very different bot lane from SNHU than we've seen for the last 8 weeks here. Ahri popping up as the mid pick here for SNHU. A very safe pick, very consistent.
Not too counterable. One of the better like first pick mid laners in general. Haven't seen Toxic play too much Ahri though. Lee Sin coming out. Who's the? Oh, so well, we just heard
that missing pick is Veigar.
That is that's scary, especially with a dive comp that SNHU is drafting, or like a pick comp. Really, however you look at it, a team fight front to back. Either way, Veigar messes with that. Kennen. That is a very scary. Kennen's one of those characters that we mentioned before. You don't really think about the rat until the rat comes.
Yeah, he can be a problem character very quickly. The Veigar Ahri matchup is interesting because anytime that Veigar is going to have to walk up and try and last hit minions, he's going to be a prime charm target. So he doesn't have any sort of movement to mitigate that. He's going to have to really predict when those charms are coming out.
I hope we see the new thing with Veigar that's been happening recently, where instead of building Cosmic Drive, you either build Force of Nature or Dead Man's and don't auto.
Yeah.
So you always have that movement speed bonus.
That would definitely be good in a matchup with Ahri, where you need that movement to really survive. Mordekaiser as the last pick for SNHU, bringing up the top lane here, versus Kennen. How do we feel about that?
I'm not too certain. I think it's better later in the fight because you can just ult Kennen away from your team. Which is helpful, but that lane's going to be rough.
Yeah,
that's going to be a really rough lane phase. I think Mordekaiser, if they can play safe and just neutrally scale without getting solo picked, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But that's really hard, especially when you have Lee Sin.
I think SNHU's whole composition here is going to have to take a very interesting approach to team fights, right? Because in terms of front to back, right, uOttawa, obviously they've got Draven, Thresh, they've got like Lee Sin to get in there and soak up some damage, they've got Veigar to really act as that stopgap if you try and go in on them. It's going to be very hard to dive in on uOttawa, and with characters like Vi and Samira and Ahri, that's kind of what you're looking for, is for that opportunity to just get a big window and go in and capitalize
it
on
feels like SNHU Blue's team comp is very volatile. Like, if someone gets ahead, they're going to be ahead for the entire game. If they get behind, they're going to be behind for the entire game. And it seems like they're just relying on their ability to not let that happen. This is going to be a very, very skill-based matchup.
Absolutely. And with both these teams being so close together in the standings, SNHU Blue is currently 4-4 for the season, so perfectly even so far. uOttawa Gray is 3-5, so these two teams are right next to each other in the standings, right? This is SNHU's chance to come out of the season with a positive rating and to go into playoffs going positive. For uOttawa Gray, they're looking to try and boost themselves up a little bit, get that score line up. But we're going to take a quick break while we get ready to go into game. We'll be back in just a few minutes with SNHU Blue versus uOttawa Gray. Hello and welcome back as we're ready to go into our first game of the night, SNHU Blue versus uOttawa Gray in Week 9 of the NECC. Let's go ahead and hop in and check out our final match of the regular season here. This is a big one.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I think this is going to be an interesting game to watch, especially with bot lane's going to be really interesting pre-6, and then top lane's also going to be very volatile as well. Because it's, at least from what I've heard, it's basically a skill matchup. But if Mordekaiser gets behind, it's basically over. So you really have to be confident in that Mordekaiser pick. I think that Vi is generally an odd pick. I think it's an SNHU special, but I don't think Vi has anything necessarily better than Wukong or Sedge at the moment. I think Wukong and Sedge are kind of a little bit better, but I think that Vi can do a lot. Especially with invading as well. You have Lee Sin. Lee Sin isn't as strong early, and Vi definitely has pressure to scare Lee Sin. Lee Sin does have ward hops, but that's not necessarily enough to stop the pressure from Vi jungle.
Right. And Sejuani has been a pretty popular pick all season. Still is pretty popular overall, but it's starting to fall off a little bit here, at least in the NECC. We don't see very many teams rocking it anymore or even bothering to ban it. So definitely just a little bit of a shift in the meta. It's still a very popular and powerful character. We're just not seeing it too much in here as these teams kind of adjust a little bit. You see a lot of that in these smaller leagues, these kind of league-dependent metas that develop, and it's more so about how in Week 9, these teams really are familiar with each other at this point, and they kind of have a pretty good idea of what the teams in their division are playing. They've had a lot of time to scout each other, and so we start to see a lot of compositions that are really informed as opposed to just picking stuff that is really good.
Yeah, that as well. There's a whole nother level of it. Which is obviously like the counter picking, what you think they're comfortable with, looking at matchups, like who do they lose into a lot, that type of stuff. But it's definitely a very safe pick, I think, and it's very good, especially with the draft of picking it early, not necessarily knowing who you're going into. Because you could pick Wukong and then not really want to go for a dive draft.
Right.
You could pick Sedge, and then maybe you want to play a more tanky character top lane, and then you don't have damage. So I think Vi is definitely a very good all-round safe type of first pick. Seems like there might be a pause going on, a little bit of connection issues happening. But yeah, I think that generally SNHU's comp, as I mentioned before, very volatile. And I think that if they get through the early game, it should be more of a skill matchup. It's just if they get behind ever, it's going to be hard.
That is going to very much be the case here. And while we were talking a little bit about these sort of league micro metas that we're seeing kind of develop here in the NECC, it's also worth noting that position swap that SNHU did have with Chroma moving to ADC and Suki moving to top, that's going to change things up a little bit. That's going to change up what the other teams are expecting. And in terms of scouting, really is going to sort of throw things a little bit off kilter. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust to playing in these. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be playing these positions if they weren't familiar with them, but interesting to see how they go into these matches in these new positions that they've definitely had time to scrim. We just haven't seen it actually play out before our eyes quite yet. So it is going to be kind of a very much different game, a different SNHU Blue than you've been kind of seeing the entire season. Same players, just slightly different tactics and how they approach things. But it looks like we're getting back into game after that reconnect. Let's go ahead and get things rolling again.
I think one thing that SNHU is going to have to watch out for, though, is Lee Sin has a very easy gank opportunity on Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser doesn't have a lot pre-level 6, but then also Draven is just so strong pre-level 6 as well, and Samir is so weak that Lee Sin kind of has free reign over whatever lane. Even into, like, Ahri pre-level 6, Ahri can't really get away, so yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting figuring out what they're going to play for, and I think SNHU should respond to that in kind.
And we're seeing that from uOttawa, Zhao was around that shrine bush there, put a ward down in it, and actually a counter ward coming out from Pancake caused him to back off a little bit. They actually saw that get placed down. I don't think they actually caught vision of that jungler, which is pretty important as he moved up towards mid. It looked like he was really kind of posturing for the gank down here, and we see that with SNHU, having their lane so far pushed up here really could open themselves up for something. But Seamons is in the area, obviously ready for that counter gank. I think he has got a pretty good idea that something is going on, but doesn't quite know that Zhao knows what's going on already. That uOttawa were able to get a ward down in there, and they know their plan has been foiled. So they're just going to go ahead and take this opportunity to back off.
Yeah, it is very good from uOttawa to, be prepared for this. But it looks like there's a bit of a uneven trading going on in the top lane, which I feel like is natural in the lane. Kennen does abuse a lot of top laners early just because it's a ranged into melee matchup.
And Mordekaiser is always kind of a character that has this problem, but we're actually seeing Zhao start to come up for this gank, and this could be a big opportunity for uOttawa as they start to try and turn onto him here. Suki trying to just take this fight, trying to find one. He's not going to be able to, though. He will end up going down. Burns flash at the same time. And that's going to be a pretty big win for Kennen up in the top lane. And also that kill going over towards uOttawa's jungler is really going to give them a boost early on. And C-Monsters in the area is going to be looking to try and find equal value down here. Dark Utopia starting to roll up. Does get spotted out by that ward. And unfortunately, he is going to lose that element of surprise.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Successful gank from uOttawa, but that was just unfortunate timing where Thresh walked up and put a ward in that bush. It seems like, in general, it's going to be a bit of a slower type of game, I'm feeling. I'm just getting a general vibe that all these teams are playing so safe just because of how pressured they are to win these games. This actually matters a lot. Like, getting good placements in the upcoming tournament is exactly what teams need. It's not like they can try anything new. They're going to really be playing a lot of comfort picks and just generally going for the safest ganks possible rather than going for anything big and flashy.
It is worth noting as well that Dragon is up right now. It is the Ocean Drake down in the bot lane. So this is an opportunity for these teams. First Drake usually can mean something pretty big. If you're able to get control of that, you've got a good chance at actually maintaining objective control throughout the entire game. So we're going to see these teams start to kind of care about that sometime soon, but they're really just playing safe at the moment, taking very measured risks and not really exposing themselves too much. The fact that uOttawa found one kill earlier, SNHU aren't going to let that happen again. And actually, C-Monst is going to hop over this wall. He's going to spot out Lee Sin, and that's going to potentially be a lot of info for SNHU. They're going to back off. They know he's around the Dragon Pit, so we're going to start to see mid lane make their way down here. Toxic trying to just get some space, hit that Scryer, see what's going on down here. We'll take a little bit of poke damage from Morphosis here. We'll be able to get a little bit back of his own now.
Level 6 is coming up fairly shortly. For bot lane. It is going to be a bit interesting. It seems like SNHU hasn't gotten that far behind, actually being up in CS, surprisingly, with the pressure of, Thresh Draven. So it's going to be interesting to see how this lane changes. Maybe C-Monsters will come down for an earlier gank to try to help Samira snowball, because once you're online with Samira, you are a menace.
Definitely. And we've seen SNHU really push this bot lane up a lot. They don't want Dark Utopia to be able to get the space that he needs to really exert threat through these hooks, right? Because he needs to worry about himself at the moment. That's what Pancake wants. That's his game plan, right? Is to say, my hook is scarier than yours, and if you put yourself in a position where you try and find positioning, I'm just going to hook you over to my ADC, and you're going to die. And the disconnect there from uOttawa. Maybe some technical difficulties here. I know that this might be a surprise to a lot of our viewers, but League of Legends is a little bit unstable lately.
Yeah, League has been having a little bit of problems. Riot. It's an indie game studio.
They're working on other games right now.
Did you hear they're working on a TV show?
Another one? Not Arcane?
No, they're a small indie game studio, They're a small, tiny indie game development studio.
They got all they're making a card game or something,
Yeah.
All the money's in Valorant these days.
Yeah.
But we'll be getting back in-game in just a few seconds. It is really this has been a problem that some of the teams have been having as well going into some of their scrims, is just a little bit of performance issues going into it. So it's expected to happen a little bit at this point in the game, but there's nothing much you can do about it. Just kind of have to get back into the game, get things rolling again. SNHU are close to finishing off this dragon, and that means that they're going to be able to get the first dragon. So to establish that objective control, they're not too far behind in gold, so things are still pretty even. I'm interested to see, what does the gold distribution look like here? Because a lot of these lanes are very, very even.
Yeah. One thing that I'm very surprised about is how far CS behind Lee Sin is. They did go for a gank, but Vi tried for 2. It seems like Lee Sin only tried for one, so the clear seems to be a bit slow right there. But yeah, I think the game's changed a lot now that level 6 is up. It's going to be harder to gank Mordekaiser topside. It's going to be harder to gank down bottom, especially for uOttawa. And then Nautilus is also a huge threat. You know, Thresh ult isn't very good. Thresh is good because they have peel with their W and because they have E, which you can't wind wall. You can't do stuff to it. You just get E'd, you kind of get pulled in, you get free hooked.
Yeah.
Even if you flash. Yeah. So the problem is Nautilus has ult, which can pick any specific person. Vi can then go in, and then you can follow up.
SNHU's not looking at trying to take the Rift Herald here. Toxic's going to do a little bit of a trade, and actually Lee Sin is pretty close behind if he does step up too far. SNHU's bot lane is also getting pushed up right now as Pancake is up top, or he's up topside helping out with this Rift Herald. This could actually turn into some pressure in these top 2 lanes if they want to try and convert into that, but just getting this Rift Herald is going to be pretty big, and Pancake's going to decide to recall off of that. Proma holding his own under lane. He's still ahead in CS by 1. No longer, unfortunately. His lead usurped as they now go into a tie. Toxic can potentially find a solo kill right here. Morphosis having trouble getting away around this corner, and Toxic is going to be able to find that solo kill.
That's very well played. Ahri is a counter into Veigar, but yeah, that was a very good charm right there coming out from Toxic. Doesn't matter how many you miss as long as you hit the ones you need.
That's true. And the ones that you do need can be so valuable. Charm is such a powerful status effect, and Ahri is really good at getting it exactly when she needs it and getting big combos off of that, finding big damage. If you're a character like Veigar or any sort of squishy character, those combos are really going to hurt.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I will say, though, is that even though SNHU is behind in gold, they do have a dragon, and I think objectives are generally have a large hidden gold value. Like, being able to get that much health regen in general because of the Drake buffs earlier in the season, or last season, Drakes and objectives in general have been so powerful that I'd put a hidden like 500, maybe even 1,000 gold on SNHU just because they have that.
Well, and also consider that they got the Rift Herald, so that is just sitting around. They're holding on to that for right now, but it's going to have to go down somewhere, and that's going to really open things up, especially with 4 down here in the bot lane for SNHU and a good team fight starting to break out. QWQ trying to get away from Pancake, who is unfortunately taking a lot of damage, will end up going down now, a 3 versus 3. A lot of damage being spread across SNHU as they try and get in. Another kill comes out into QWQ. It's a double kill as well. Darkseid will be the last one standing in a double kill for Proma. Rift Herald is still down here as well. Sea-Monster's the holder of that. Morphosis coming down to try and just stand against this wave that's crashing in. We'll be able to clear a good bit of it, and that's actually going to slow down this push quite a bit. Whether or not they want to put down Rift Herald is a big deal because they probably can't get turret anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Veigar is one of those threats that you can't really go under and dive. You know, with R being able to chunk so much of your health, it's just very scary. But as we mentioned before, when Samira hit level 6, she came online really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, in general, SNHU's team comp's very volatile, and I could see Samira being a huge threat for uOttawa's team into the future. Draven didn't really get that pressure that they needed early pre-level 6, which is really where Draven thrives. Draven does have a good ult, but into Samira, who has, you know, basically a wind wall, it's going to be hard.
Toxic is just getting smoked right now in the mid lane, but he actually will be able to get away using his ultimate, dashing away. And it was 3 people who were on him right there, and he actually managed to escape. A pretty good maneuver there, and unfortunately uOttawa, they really wanted to start to find some value soon because SNHU, they're now up in kills, they're up in objectives, they're doing a pretty good job of just controlling the map right now. A lot of vision for him, too.
Didn't even use Flash.
Yeah, he's just out of there.
No. Do you even need to run it on that character? Obviously joking, but yeah. Very well played by Toxic being able to get out of that. Also really important as well. Veigar getting ahead is very terrifying, and then also Ahri has a shutdown as well, so that could be a lot of gold going over to uOttawa. SNHU seems like they're doing a great job just playing the early game and playing the map, trying their best. But great combo with Nautilus. A stopwatch coming out, though. One Nautilus auto or Viq will just seal it.
I don't know if I would have spent the stopwatch there. That is a pretty valuable cooldown, and there's not a lot of escape routes for you there. They're just going to drop the Rift Herald casually, try and get some turret plates here, and just kind of exert some pressure as they start to move up towards the Infernal Drake. This is pretty big for them as well, not just because they get the damage boost off of that, but because they're denying it from the other team. A Draven and a Vigar with an Infernal Drake? That's scary.
Yeah, that's really terrifying. But yeah, SNHU is like significantly in the lead right now, even though it looks like they're very even on gold, only 2,000. Having an Infernal Drake on Samira, also an Ocean Drake on Nautilus, Invi, and Mordekaiser, it's just crazy. And the solo kill coming out top lane from Mordekaiser as well. Absolutely vital. It seems like, as we mentioned before, SNHU's comp is very volatile and it's snowballing exactly how SNHU needs.
We're seeing now as well a lot of pressure going down onto the top lane turret as Suki found that kill. Just going to continue to split push here, and if Suki's able to establish a really strong split push very early, he's able to really chunk that turret down, which he was able to get a plate off of it. But the sooner he breaks through that, the bigger of a problem he's going to be. Top lane is really one of those roles where you don't necessarily have to interact with the other team if you get an early lead. You can just sit in your lane all game and split push, and that is a very effective and dangerous tactic that not a lot of teams really know exactly how to punish.
Yeah, split pushing is kind of the name of the game right now. If you look at the characters who are really good, you have Jax, who's both good in team fighting. Sion's also really good right now. Yorick has, for some reason, become not the least played character in the game. I don't know why. No one played Yorick before, but Yorick's been really good for a very long time. Hopefully this means Riot will actually fix Yorick bugs. Who knows? But yeah, no, split pushing is really part of the meta. So yeah, you're definitely going to have to watch out for that with Mordekaiser. And Mordekaiser having the ability to just 1v1 anyone and then getting all of their power is just so powerful, especially for split pushing, because if the whole team converges on a fed Mordekaiser, Mordekaiser's just going to get more fed.
That is
they
true.
steal all of your stats.
It is very scary to go into a Mordekaiser that is snowballing here. uOttawa do have objective bounties up, which is potentially their ticket back into the game. 15 minutes in, and those bounties being up definitely shows that an early lead is starting to build here, even if the gold difference doesn't quite show it. There's a lot of objectives taken for SNHU. Surprisingly, no first turret yet. And that is a pretty big deal. That's a lot of gold that's just on the table waiting. And SNHU is actually going to start pressuring Rift Herald up here. And doesn't look like that uOttawa really are starting to move in this direction. There was a ward on River, so they know that he's doing Rift Herald. But no answer from them right now. They just got to kind of focus on not taking risks. Going into Tsuki trying to solo Rift Herald is a pretty scary fight to take.
Yeah, that's honestly really scary. You just have to try to get a pick if you can. Looks like CMOS might be in a tough situation, especially with Lee Sin coming out and just barely hitting the end of that Vigar stun. But that Ahri Everfrost was huge,
nice.
Being able to get that Q. But the Veigar are chunked Vi from half health. Ahri might be able to get this kill, though. A couple cooldowns are up. Charm.
Nice Charm. That is so big, and he's able to get the kill off of that. That's a double kill there for Toxic, and he's home free. He's gone. There was a teleport coming in there for uOttawa to try and salvage that team fight, but it was just too little too late. Wasn't able to find any value off of that. And now that means top lane's open again for Suki, and I'm sure he's pretty happy about that.
And that tower's probably gone.
Yeah, turret plating down. He's got Rift Herald. This Rift Herald, it's a good thing that Kennen is up here, because that was a very easy 2-charge Rift Herald that you could get off of that if they did not contest that. Which
even still, maybe, depending on if Lee Sin doesn't come up.
That's true. That Kennen's really going to have to push up into Mordekaiser to actually be able to contest this here. And Suki has plenty of ways to stop that from happening.
Oh, just
will be
barely
able to pick up the kill, though.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing charm by Toxic. Beautiful, by the way. Picking up that just allows SNHU to snowball so hard. And you see Mordekaiser now pressuring with a split push advantage in Lee Sin's blue side. It's just so hard to do anything here because you know as Lee Sin, if you go in, you die. And you know as Kennen, if you go in, you die. So it's basically impossible right now, and you have Toxic waiting just kind of around the corner as well.
Level difference is also kind of starting to become a big problem right now, because you've got Toxic who's level 13, and Lee Sin is going to have a very tough time at level 9 actually doing too much into that. That is a pretty significant gap there, so he really can't go into this jungle to actually be able to contest this on his own. He needs help from his team, and unfortunately, it just kind of seems like SNHU just walked up and took their lunch money. They just shook him down for those jungle camps here, and actually see a little bit of an engage in the bot lane here, but a good hook.
Counter engage.
Pancake trying to escape in time. Doesn't get the hook onto the wall, and he's going to die for that. Proma stays alive, though.
Oh, the hook coming out. Cleanse, though.
This is scary. He goes under tower, gets Insect right back out, is able to get in, but he is so low that you just can't stop him from dying. Fortunately, Sea Monsters is on the scene, and he's going to be able to pick up this kill on his own. Try and find some equal value there, not letting uOttawa get away with too much there.
But that shutdown and farm differential is going to be huge for uOttawa. CS is basically even, so only around like 600 gold down. Maybe we'll be able to pick this up with the CS diff as well, and then also tower. Unsure how many plates Promo got, but it's definitely evening up in bot side, and that's going to be scary.
uOttawa are pretty close to this Dragon Pit right now, and Morphosis is just going to walk up and try and challenge this at the moment. Toxic starting to move in, trying to find these angles, and actually Suki is going to be the one right behind. He goes in, he finds one. Dark Utopia down, Morphosis down. It's a double kill. QWQ trying to escape, but he doesn't pop the blast cone, and SNHU are going to be right on their tail. Actually, Suki intersecting them, but looks like it was kind of a bait. They were relying on that. Kennan's able to find a kill off of that blast cone engage. Now in the Death Realm, he's going to have to try and take Suki one-on-one, and it could be difficult, but he's going to come out of the Death Realm pretty low and actually get shut down there by QWQ. That is a lot of gold that has gone over to this Draven. CMOS is trying to just engage in this Dragon race right now. Lee Sin going to end up dying to Proma as they just continue to hold the front line right now. SNHU will be able to take this Dragon, and I'd say they came out somewhat favorably from that team fight there. They're on Soul Point now, but that's a lot of gold that just went over to uOttawa.
Yeah, definitely. I'm unsure what took Mordekaiser ult there. Looks like Mordekaiser didn't get the ult off. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
He used it on Kennen.
Oh, okay.
He was 1v1 in Kennen in the Death Realm, but just wasn't able to finish off that kill.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for SNHU. Getting a couple huge shutdowns onto Draven is going to be terrifying for the future, but picking up 3 Drakes, you're going to have Soul by like 25 minutes? That's going to be really scary, especially because of how early Vigar is going to get online. Or, how early SNHU could get online with Ultra Drake.
Yeah, it's going to be scary. And uOttawa right now have no bounties taken at all. SNHU, I mean, 3 dragons, 2 turrets, and they've gotten 2 Rift Heralds as well.
Yeah.
They have just been dominating objectives right now, and Suki in the top lane has really been taking care of that. CMOS has been able to really focus on the bot side of the map, while Suki just controls the jungle in the top side. And that is the mark of a really good jungler, being able to completely control the top side of the map. That's kind of one of your unspoken duties, is to counter jungle up there when your jungler is sort of putting on pressure somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the huge parts to it. Jungling is kind of about trading, really figuring out like, oh, jungler's going up here. How can I trade? How can I counter it? You know, thinking about sort of like deck of cards. It's kind of weirdly like poker. But yeah, SNHU is doing a great job right now. Gold differential is very much in SNHU's favor. And as mentioned before, dragons and objectives are just so powerful right now that SNHU is still ahead with that. Even though Draven might be coming online soon, you really have to worry about that because there aren't a lot of characters that can quite counter Draven as easily except for a Vialt.
SNHU just trying to farm up right now, get these lanes pushed out. They really don't want uOttawa to ever be in a situation where they can actually threaten a turret, right? These objective bounties are starting to get big, and if they're able to cash out on these, that could be a really big opportunity to get back into the game for uOttawa. So SNHU are doing a really good job at just really establishing this vision control in their jungle, and also just pushing out all these lanes. Not letting them actually get the chance to get up to tower is super smart. And uOttawa seem to be under the impression that they're doing Baron right now. Saw an ult go up that way.
Yeah, that was a very good call, though, because SNHU might have done that if they didn't see the Draven ult come out. But yeah, Draven ult's going to spot that out, and it just seems like a brawl of 2 heavy AP characters in bot side. Really, Mordekaiser's just trying to split push as best they can to drop pressure away from the rest of the team.
uOttawa mostly grouping up here in the top jungle at the moment, seem to be really struggling to find a place to be right now. And I think that is pretty fair. Morphosis in a bad spot now, goes into the Death Realm. Suki going to have to try and take this fight in her turret, and actually he's going to take a lot of damage from this, but a perfectly timed Q and a good shield is going to keep him more than healthy enough to claim that kill, and all of that delicious AP.
Towers are nothing to Mordekaiser.
Oh, yeah.
6 tower shots? That's crazy. There is a Warden River, which will be able to spot this out, but does it really matter when one of the hyper carries of uOttawa's team's dead? And a TP is just going to come out as well. Mordekaiser's going to be there. This is going to be a 4v5. It's going to be so hard for uOttawa to do a lot unless somehow Draven can stay out of SNHU's grasp.
Kennen's in right now, but he does get sent right back out. Does find a lot of stuns. Seamonsters is very low, and he's actually going to get killed by Baron there, as that is the jungler down for SNHU, but they're trying to turn this. They already found 2 kills, looking for 1 more. That's Lee Sin down, just Dark Utopia left. And I think it's pretty smart for them to just continue to do Baron here. They don't have enough space taken to actually try and push into base yet. Might as well get this Baron, just establish your lead even more. Dark Utopia is starting to show up, and we're actually going to see a TP come in from Morphosis. This is questionable right now. Yeah, he's just going to explode the moment that he actually gets in. And Dark Utopia kind of just put his life on the line right now and isn't going to be able to escape. That's an ace when it absolutely didn't need to be.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. It seemed like really the last-ditch effort. They were trying to do some type of miracle play there. Maybe thought that they were just so far behind that they just needed to go for the Baron. Especially because if you look at it, SNHU has crazy tower siege. It's going to be hard, though, for uOttawa to really come back from this. It was just so unfortunate that Kennen couldn't kill Samira. Like, Samira was so low in that fight. Yeah, it was just quite unfortunate. And then Samira came out and then wiped your entire team.
Well, that's SNHU with the Baron buff here. Big opportunity for them to start knocking down some turrets. And we'll see uOttawa trying to just push out these lanes as fast as they can, but still haven't made it to SNHU's turrets. They just built up so much priority before they actually went to take Baron. And now uOttawa really have to try and get these lanes pushed up so that SNHU don't have that much time to push out for Baron. They're starting to move down towards the bot side of the map already, potentially finding that to be a good opportunity here. But really, they're looking for this soul. As uOttawa start to group up around this area, SNHU starting to push in. They have Soul, but a lot of damage coming out there for Suki as he starts to go in. Is in the death run right now with Draven, and actually is going to be able to take him out, take those stats, and now just continuing on his killing spree. He's going to find a second. A third ends up falling, and now they go back into the Dragon Pit. Lee Sin just can't escape. It's a triple kill for Suki, and they're going to go ahead and stick out this Dragon. It's just this Kennen left nearby. He's trying to go in on Toxic, but it's yanked back by Suki. Not much he can do except sit there in his stasis and watch that Mordekaiser mace just get dropped on his little head.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. This is exactly what SNHU needs. Sorry, my throat got caught up a bit there. But yeah, SNHU's just snowballing. Kind of shocked me, made my body recoil for a second.
And now they're just pushing down inhibitor turrets here. uOttawa are starting to respawn right now, but they're really going to have a tough time pushing into this. That is Soul for SNHU, Baron for them as well. Still a good amount of time on that. SNHU have proven that they can really take these front-to-back team fights. They've been able to find some really good opportunities in here. Seamonsters starting to get out. Looks like they just want to try and back up, try and push out some more lanes. Do the safe option here, and I think that's smart. They don't want to give away their lead just by getting overconfident here. 10k gold seems like a lot, and it is, but it's very quickly to just throw away.
Yeah, definitely, especially with all the shutdowns on SNHU's team. Also, these ending fights can be super volatile. Like, you'll see a team like 5k gold down just get Baron and win.
Yeah.
Like, it happens so often just because of how powerful these later game objectives are. But really, the purpose is to not let that happen. Like, you have to do some type of big misplay in a team fight for that to even occur. Yeah, and also SNHU has Chemtech Soul, which is just so powerful. Yeah, it's especially on Mordekaiser. It's going to be a bit of a snowball situation unless Kennen can get some type of flank, maybe onto Samira or Toxic. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Morphosis here is in another precarious position as Pancake starts to make his way over there. He's going to go ahead and yank him right back in, and now an entire team is on top of him there. He's going to go ahead and pop his Zonias, but he actually is able to get away. Proma not quite able to find that kill when he needs it. You'll see the recall come out there. SNHU are still holding up over here. They've got this next wave coming in. It's a pretty good opportunity for them to actually siege here, especially with Vigar out of the way. Not a lot that they can really do under turret to hold their ground at the moment, and especially while Suki is just split pushing up and top. A very tricky situation right now. Their attention is definitely split in a lot of separate ways, and SNHU are being sure to keep them there. They just by sitting in bot lane, they're forcing them to not deal with Suki in the top lane. And
yeah,
Toxic.
Definitely. Yeah, and you have so many inhibs open. It looks like SNHU is actually not trying to take the inhibs, which I think is absolutely amazing. Oh, Charm just barely missed right there. But Kennen's so low that theoretically, if you push this wave in, you could try for a dive.
uOttawa just rooted under this turret. They cannot leave this without SNHU taking it, and Toxic, Suki, just continuing to push down the top lane at the moment. Suki's actually going to take Morphosis into Death Realm, try and go right on in this Vigar again. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of stats for him as he comes out of this. He's going to get kicked away, but he's still holding on pretty well. He's got a big shield stocked up at the moment. Not going to get executed by that. Going to go ahead and spend his shield to heal himself. Zhao trying to go in, but that's so much damage going on to him there. Does get hit with a small airborne there, but they're starting to turn on this, and they find a kill on the QWQ. The next one up is Zhao. It's going to be Dark Utopia next, and a good charm is going to shut down Ken and uOttawa. No one left standing. SNHU pushing down the inhibitor turrets. It is all but over right now.
The Mordekaiser court has come and decided death with that big gavel. Yeah, it's just so unfortunate. Getting those Veigar stats was just so vital for really trying to like
gold Suki has. He has 6,000 more gold than Kennen.
That is insane.
That is a stupid amount of gold.
I don't think I've seen that drastic in a very long time.
He's 13-2. I mean,
he died first in lane as well. Yeah, just Mordekaiser things.
Starting from behind, and he still just completely just blew his lane out of the water. That was an insane performance. I mean, from the entire team, but Suki especially.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
what a performance.
Yeah, SNHU's just it seems so confident in their play compared to like earlier in the season.
Yeah.
You've just seen so much growth from these players, especially with like the player swap as well. And then also just like how confident SNHU seems to be, where in sort of the earlier couple games of the season, kind of didn't really know what the meta was, kind of trying to figure things out, feeling really uncomfortable with the new role swaps. And now you see the team just perfectly executing everything that they needed to exactly. Like if that draft got behind, they would have been out of the water. Samira doesn't get ahead and Draven just gets fed, or Kennen gets ahead in some way. Which kind of did happen, but then Mordekaiser just clawed it back. It was amazing.
It was a really confident draft, and it paid out completely for them there. So really, really great play from them overall. This is a best of 3 set, though, so we still potentially have 2 more games coming up. It's set point for SNHU, so if they take this next game, they're taking this, and they are ending the season 5-4. That's you definitely would rather be that than 4-5.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is going to be big for their scoreline here as we go into game 2 after this short break. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back as we get ready to go into our second game of the night. My name is Shane. I'm joined here with Joe. Let's go and take a look at our MVP for last game. Definitely gotta be Suki. A crazy KDA, a crazy amount of damage, and a ton of damage taken.
Yeah, absolutely insane by Suki. Yeah, absolutely deserves this.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is a crazy stat line for that game. So just want to highlight that real quick. 38,000 damage taken.
Only one death after the Lee Sin gank early.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
2 deaths and 40,000 damage taken.
Yeah.
That is so much. It is ridiculous. But let's go ahead and hop into draft for our second game here. This is set point for SNHU Blue, so all they have to do is take this game to wrap this up. So hopefully they're looking to find a pretty good draft here and put the nail in the coffin for uOttawa Gray. We're seeing very similar bans come out of the gate. uOttawa Gray are actually going to ban Syndra and Rammus out there.
Yeah, it seems pretty standard. Nyla ban didn't seem like they were too worried about the Draven. Yeah, definitely with the way the bot lane went. It looks like SNHU might be just trying again to redo the lane. Yeah, and what did uOttawa ban third last time? I forget, honestly.
It was, I'm going to guess that they're either going to ban a character that's played last game or they're going to ban the same thing. And they're going to ban the Ahri.
Ahri, okay, that's honestly really weird. Teemo Hover.
I think, yeah, Teemo Hover, probably not going to be a real pick there. I think the Ahri ban makes sense because Vigar really struggled into that lane. And yeah. If they're banning out the Ahri, I'm going to assume that means that Vigar is kind of inflexible in the mid lane right there. Like that is a very, very heavy comfort pick. So really making sure to clear the way for that is really big for uOttawa. And it's going to secure that lane, make sure that it's able to stay in the game. Nautilus once again coming out as first pick for SNHU Blue. Just an incredibly safe bot laner there. And Pancake was able to just establish so much pressure with that pick last game here. Looking potentially seeing the Draven pick from uOttawa could be the exact same composition coming up, where we are going to see Leona looking to try and take a little bit more of an aggro position there. Couldn't find too much value on the Thresh last time, so I think Leona's definitely a lot more just like, hey, whether you like it or not, I'm going in on you.
Yeah, definitely. Singe Hover. Haven't seen that one yet, but yeah, I think Leona's definitely better. I think Thresh was a little bit too reserved, especially with the draft that uOttawa was playing with. Thresh is decent into Samira, but I definitely think that Leona's a bit better because you can't wind wall Leona E.
I'm glad they did not pick Singe. They did not pick Singe. I know Sea Monsters must have really wanted to. That's the character that he got Masters on, but that is I think Vi was awesome last game.
Jungle?
Yeah.
He got Masters.
Yeah, on Singe Jungle.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
Just Sea Monsters things.
SNHU are also going to pick up the Samira again. Yeah. Graves coming out there. Graves did get adjusted recently, so that is a character that's been popping up a little bit into the meta again, as some players are picking him back up. Going into our second wave of bans here. Composition looking downright identical for SNHU Blue.
Yeah, looking very good. I don't even think the Graves will necessarily do too much. Like Samira Windwall, you pick a similar top laner. It's going to be so hard for Graves to do a lot, even to gank bot lane. So this might be a top lane pick, or might be a more reserved late game. Yeah, I don't know exactly if I like that Graves, but it looks like Mordekaiser is going to be banned out. Might try for Kennen again. I
think the Mordekaiser ban is good. Suki went ham on Mordekaiser last game, so that makes sense. We're going to see SNHU's second wave of bans come out here. Silas coming out, once again, a targeted ban. We'll see as the Lux also gets banned out. I see the how they drew the line here. They're going, oh, okay, Ahri, that's a problem. Might as well ban Lux as well. Two very similar champions.
If SNHU bans Veigar, that kind of completely messes with uOttawa, though.
But what if it's just really elaborate bait?
I don't think it would be.
Looking to ban Victor.
Interesting. Seems like they're not too worried about...
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. They wanted to make them think that they were going into the Vigar once again. And I think they did a pretty good job selling that. But I think the Victor ban there really shows SNHU were kind of aware of that. The Annie coming out, definitely a very different pick than Vigar.
Yeah, Annie's really scary into this. That can shut down Samira so quickly. Same with Vi.
It's like if you pick just another Vygar counter, then well, Annie's just going to point and click stun you, and then there's not much you can really do.
Ori.
Okay. This is
what I'd like to call an alt wombo combo type of team comp. Ori alt, Samira alt, Amumu alt.
Yep. Yeah, that is really going to put that together right there. I was going to say, I don't know quite where he's going. Gnar is also, once again, going to be big ult there.
Yeah.
Largely going to be his contribution to a lot of these fights. I think he's going to really, Gnar just going to be focusing on trying to just not interact as much as possible in the top lane there. Really, really safe character here. And uOttawa's final pick will really round out their team composition right here. They've got, I feel like, a pretty standard team composition. Really looking for that kind of front-to-back fight. Maybe a little bit of pick potential with Annie and Graves. This final pick is really going to kind of determine what exact route they're going for here. And we're going to see the Malphite come out into the top lane there.
Yeah, definitely. Malphite, pretty good, I'd say, generally into this team. This team doesn't have a lot of AP. You know, you have Orianna, who's solo AP carry, but she isn't really known for too crazy things except for those big alt wombo combos. It's not like you have a Syndra where you really want, or like a Victor where you really want to be the solo AP carry. So I think that's very good, and especially with Malphite alt being able to do wonders to really stop any of these characters. I think that honestly this is going to be a very interesting game. Not sure how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these compositions come out. SNHU running a very similar composition, just tweaked a little bit, and I think that is exactly what they kind of need going into this, because what they played last time worked perfectly. They went great for them. They seemed really comfortable and really warm on those characters. So just trying to play a lot of the same ideas, maybe slightly different characters based on the bans, I think is perfect for them here in this composition. So I'm really excited to see SNHU go into this, and I'm excited to see uOttawa try and punch back up to get themselves back in this set, try and bring things back 1-1, try and keep themselves alive. SNHU looking to close this match out after this short break. Hello and welcome back as we're going to go into our second game of the night, continuing with SNHU Blue versus uOttawa Gray. This is set point for SNHU Blue, so let's go ahead and hop in and get started with this. This is a pretty deep invade here.
Okay, yeah, this is really deep.
This could be a big problem for Malphite right here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah.
He's going to be forced to flash
Gonna have to flash, yeah. Not a kill for SNHU, but that is a very good pickup. That definitely puts a lot of pressure off of Gnar and definitely allows for Vi to maybe head to topside.
Yeah, and that was just completely for free, too. SNHU didn't get challenged on that at all. uOttawa, mostly bot side, they're really interested in just making sure that their jungler doesn't get invaded. That's the big thing for them right now. Morphosis in the mid lane here. Talk starting to show up at the same time. This is an interesting sort of composition here because early game, I feel like uOttawa are in a pretty decent position early game here. Draven, Leona, especially in the bot lane, is going to be a very dangerous combination at the moment that level 2 hits. So if QWQ is really able to sort of establish that lead and farm, then he's going to be able to hit level 2 first, get that level 2 power spike, and really start to do some damage here onto Proma, who's going to have to be pretty close to the minions in the front line.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be weird, really, to see how like Gnar and Malphite impact this game going forward. Like, I feel like it's kind of still the same situation, no? Like,
yeah,
it's feast or famine. If Malphite gets ahead, you win. If Gnar gets ahead, you win. It seems like SNHU's kind of is just the same draft, but with a little bit different characters.
It is also worth noting that uOttawa did have a support substitution there. So Dark Utopia out, Fire Spirit Phoenix in, and that could potentially change up how this game looks and how their general strategy looks. Maybe a reason why they're somewhat comfortable playing into a very similar composition for SNHU.
Yeah, it might be something with the character swap that could definitely allow for bot lane to do a little bit better. It looks like Draven is getting a lot more pressure, though, so it definitely helped out in some regard.
He's definitely building up a CS lead, and that's going to be important, and we're seeing how much lane priority is being built here for uOttawa. Definitely want to be sure to not let things happen like they did last time. Last time, SNHU really had a lot of strong control in the lane, and at the moment, QWQ and Fire Spirit are really just forcing a lot of a very careful decision-making from SNHU's bot lane right now, with just how much space they threaten. And as their minion wave dies, SNHU will start to get a chance to push back up just a little bit there. Pancake potentially pull someone in, but you got to be very careful actually deciding to go all in off of any sort of hook into a Draven Leona lane, because they could very, very easily turn that around here. And we're actually seeing Pancake just narrowly missing that hook, means that uOttawa are going to get away with a little bit of free damage.
I've never seen a Nautilus hook miss like that.
That was very weird, right?
Nautilus
it kind of threaded the needle.
Big. It's such a...
Chroma's in a lot of danger
right hook
here.
Right there.
Pancake might have just put himself in a dangerous position. No, it looks like they're going to just sit back under here. Pancake
take it out.
One more auto, and he would have been in a very bad spot. And they're actually able to get under turret before Zhao shows up. Now we're seeing Boadame in a very weird position as Suki tries to go in, flashing in, will be able to pick up first blood with that transformation, and that is a really great solo kill there from Suki. He has been consistently performing great.
Yeah, that was such a good pickup on the opposite side of the map. You know, SNHU's bot side was getting behind and seemed like top lane was just going to be a bit of a wet noodle fight, but that's a great pickup on the opposite side of the map, especially with Flash being gone from Malphite. Couldn't really do anything there, and that's all just from that early game invade.
I think a big issue with Malphite here is he's going to have to worry about constantly being harassed by Suki, who's just going to be able to really kite very effectively and just constantly poke down at him. That's going to be a big, big problem going forward here, especially with that 1-kill lead. Toxic also finding some decent success in the mid lane here. He's able to force Morphosis to back, and he will start to build up a little bit of a CS lead here. Doing really well in these trades is a really big thing, especially for mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I'm still skeptical on is this Graves. I really don't know how this Graves is going to help the team too much. I'm not really too familiar with how Graves' damage thresholds are currently. It didn't seem that good last time I played it. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if they can do anything at this bot lane. Graves, though, is in bot side right now, and SNHU is pushing a wave, so this could be something big coming out soon.
Yeah, Seamonsters being very close behind. uOttawa could try and bait something here. They're trying to force them to engage, and that's going to mean Sea Monsters flying out of the brush, trying to go in on this Leona, but Zhao is right behind. The near sight comes through. Pancake taking a lot of damage. Promo next up, but he will be able to flash away. Pancake is also getting out of there. Sea Monsters bringing up the rear, able to tank a little bit of that extra damage. SNHU forcing a good bit of utility out there. Exhaust was popped there for uOttawa, but a decent amount of summoners for SNHU as that flash for Promo goes down.
Yeah, that was an absolutely great counter gank by uOttawa, doing exactly what they need. Now SNHU is so low. You do see Ori coming down. Does Ori have ult? Ori does have ult online. Oh, wait, was that Ori? No, that wasn't. Sorry, lie. Sunglasses. I have them on for the bit. Can't see that well. Yeah, but yeah, no, CMOTS is doing a very good job there, really stopping gang from coming out. Ori ult does come out.
That's scary, and he is going to be able to pick up the kill there. Another solo kill for SNHU. So far, these neither jungler has really helped out with either of these kills at all.
Maybe I was just manifesting it into the future.
I think so. Through the crystal ball we saw Orion, and we're like, oh, something's happening soon with that.
I was like 20 years ahead. You know, it's fine. It's just how good I am.
The junglers are in a weird spot right now, because the 2 kills for SNHU have both happened the moment that they see the jungler is not in their lane. They've been both solo kills taken because they know that they won't get ganked if they try and go for this.
Yeah, absolutely amazing by SNHU for picking up both of those solo kills, getting a fair bit of a lead. Yeah, it's definitely good to have those, especially on 2 of the most important characters, being Gnar and Ori. You know, Gnar shutting down this Malphite is really what Samira needs. Like, Samira getting a bunch of kills is fine, but if Malphite's fed, Samira can't do anything. Oh, Hex Flash coming out of the bush. Q onto Pancake. Pancake getting a little bit chunked in the E coming in. Looks like Draven might try to push up. 2 autos blocked by Windwall, but a great play right there. Pancake Man getting that perfect hook, and Proma is going in. However, it doesn't look like Proma is able to get anything off of that, just barely not able to. 2 down in level for level 6 come out, and he's heading down. They might try for a tower dive here.
This is scary. They're really setting up to siege this, and I don't know if they can quite pull it off at the moment. I think SNHU can really just hold their ground right here, and they don't have to worry too much about this. Morphosis being close is a little scary, but they don't have any stacks up right now, so their ultimate isn't going to stun. So they're just going to kind of have to back off.
Yeah, that was unfortunate that they weren't able to get anything out of that. SNHU is doing such a good job at playing so safe. Absolute amazing. And that allows Orianna to get a recall onto this Annie, so Ori actually has more items now in this lane. Annie might try to do something here, but they might have to just stay, or else Ori's going to get another plate.
Really just spending a lot of time near the bot side of the map, uOttawa, at the moment. With Zhao also down there. He's going to start counter jungling just a little bit here, but definitely spent a lot of time just waiting for SNHU to play forward here, and they're not gonna. They're just going to wait. They know that ward is there. They know that there's people creeping on him, looking at him through the brush, but they don't quite mind. They're just going to take Rift Herald instead. They're like, hey, if you guys want to sit down here and wait for us to play out of position, we're just not going to play out of position, and we're just going to take objectives on the inside of the map.
Yeah, definitely. However, Cloud Drake is really scary on a lot of uOttawa's characters. Being able to get Annie ult up more often, Draven ult, Leona ult, yeah, it's going to be a bit scary. But Rift Herald does give like a ton of gold. Like, first Rift Herald gives more than a triple kill. Like, that's crazy. Oh, it looks like they're coming down. Ult just barely whiffed, having to take Flash right there. Absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, SNHU's bot lane's coming up. Hook just barely missed, but Promo was able to dash right on there, and this might actually mean a couple more kills. Tibbers wasn't able to one-shot Orianna there. Oh, but Promo just barely got shut down by Draven. Ult coming out. There's not much that Toxic can do in the flash Q. Draven has a double kill now.
This could potentially be another kill here, but Fire Spirit's got to be very careful continuing to follow Toxic. He will be able to escape in time, not out of the fight for too long, but this dragon is not currently being progressed. uOttawa are going to have to back off here. Their jungler got shut down. He's not going back down to the dragon pit, and that dragon's just going to get a little bit more time to nap. Just sit there for a little bit before the next group of people come to try and kill it.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for SNHU. Yeah, Dragonfight was delayed, but Draven getting 2 kills. Oh, this might be a solo kill. Vi's coming down, but Flash comes out from Gnar. Maybe something, but Graves will be able to pick that up perfectly. W coming out. Doesn't look like Vi has maybe just barely enough damage. Goes for the flash, is able to get that. Q just barely missing, and then the Graves ult will come out to steal away that kill.
Just a little bit of an overcommit there. Was able to pick up a kill, but really gave up a lot in the process. That jungler being dead means that that's a lot of map pressure for uOttawa for just a little bit right now. They quickly found a way kind of back into this game. They've managed to make up the goal difference and the kill difference, starting to really win a lot of these interactions that they're taking. A lot of these picks they're taking are starting to go their way, and a lot of decisions made in these team fights are leading uOttawa to be able to find some kills on SNHU.
Yeah, it's honestly a tough situation. Draven has 2 kills now. It's not like Chroma can do much in this bot lane. That's exactly what's super scary about Draven, is that they snowball so quickly. Like 2 kills for Draven feels like 3 on any other ADC. But Chroma does have a kill, does have Noon Quiver, but Draven has Essence Reaver, which is really scary.
Zhao's in the area again. He's double buffed up right now, walking up to the mid lane, where 3 people are currently looking to try and collapse on a Toxic right here, and Wadham going in is just going to be able to finish that one off real quick. Zhao starting to make his way down towards the dragon, hopefully able to find it this time. That control ward's going to give them some information. They know the jungler is in the area. They know he's around the dragon pit. They probably know he's getting started on that. SNHU don't have a ton of ways to really work around that, though. Monsters is in the area for them, so SNHU's jungler, he's on call at the moment, but getting red buff right now. Looks like they're might just be willing to give up this dragon.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the best option, just going for some farm. You don't really have the ability to fight that teleport coming out from Toxic to get back to mid lane. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Graves is doing exactly what they need to. You know, Graves has always been sort of that earlier type of jungler and actually doing amazing counter ganks. Doing a good job. Did flash. Leona comes out, but Vi is right here where they need to be. All coming out. They might be able to get this shot down. Perfect.
Now Fire Spirit next up on the shopping block. He is not going to be able to escape. Seamoth picking up that kill. Zhao trying to run away now. Going to hop back into his jungle to be able to escape. Pancake continues to just try and take some space up here. Get some vision down. It's going to be Suki dead in the top lane here. Bloodhim just barely alive. Actually, was not killed by those minions. Able to run away. Just has 29 health.
That's one of those situations where you're like more terrified of the minions than anything else in the game. Yeah. It's going to be scary to push this wave out. Nar's still dead for 13, so it doesn't look like they're going to be able to come up. But that is absolutely scary situation for Morpheus.
Fire Spirit showing up to just continue to reinforce this a little bit, force Toxic off of here. He's able to go in. He's probably not going to be able to find a kill on Toxic on his own, but will definitely be able to force him away. He's going to start to make his way back down towards the bot lane right now. uOttawa establishing that early objective control is a very different kind of change of pace from the first game. SNHU were able to get the first Rift Herald there, but uOttawa finding a dragon means they're not completely clocked out of the objective game like they were in the first round.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very it's gonna be a more even match, it seems like. You know, you have Samira also getting snowballed, and you have Draven also getting snowballed. It seems like both it's honestly like it's both are feasting. It's very weird. Like this should be a very one-sided game, but it seems like both of the players that need to get ahead are, but Graves is going to be scary coming into the future because 3 kills and 1 assist already with Core Drinker up. That's scary.
Seamoth is starting to make his way down towards the bot side. We'll see if that pays out in too much. Kind of just continuing on with his clear. Maybe getting ready to set something up. If it does emerge, no objectives up for a little bit though. So both of these teams are really just going to try and sit back here, try and play for some of these towers. Suki just continued to poke the bear a little bit. Last time it didn't work out so well for him, but that doesn't mean he has to give up his dreams. He can still continue to harass and outfight back under turret and control some of that lane, especially when he's established a little bit of a lead in farm. And by a little bit, I mean 20 CS up.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. There's a Rift Herald fight coming out. It looks like Suki's doing an absolute amazing job into the Graves. But that was an amazing ult.
That is so sad for Suki right there. uOttawa able to just take their leave, go ahead and get on out there. Toxic's trying to find something, but the flash comes out from Zhao, able to get away. Toxic forced to fall back once again. Rift Herald might go over to SNHU now, which is potentially a big win if they're able to find a turret.
That is worth. That is actually worth. Rift Herald just gets so much gold. Like, you could have 3 people die and you get Rift Herald, and it's still worth it just with the current state of how Rift Herald works. Yeah, Rift Herald's really powerful. C-Monsters is able to pick that up, so that might be worth it for a flash and a kill. Also, that top wave gets caught by someone at least, but bot tower gets down. Honestly, I don't know who's ahead at any point. I don't know who's more ahead now from that interaction. So much stuff happened. Oh, no.
This is scary.
No.
Toxic, the moment he pops out, he's going to immediately start to back off here. We'll be able to buy a little bit of distance. The ult comes out, and Bottom's able to pick up that kill. He's now 2-2, picking up that second kill and continuing to apply pressure up on the top side of the map. Dragons up in 1 minute. Going to be the next big objective up for grabs. SNHU still have this Rift Herald, so they can really force a 50-50 for this.
Yeah, this is going to be very important, crucial fight coming out soon. Leona ult just barely whiffed. That's honestly really good for this upcoming fight. Vi is sitting in the bushes right now. Q might come out. It just held it. Hex Flash might come out from Pancake. Or just normal Flash. Oh, Ward did spot them out just barely. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks like some type of big play was going to come out if Leona pushed up a bit too far. But yeah, Leona ult is down for right now. So that's going to be a huge pickup for this fight. Also, it looks like Malphite ult is down. Malphite is Malphite's topside, so sort of useless right now. Q did come out perfectly. Going to get that extended CC from Samira. Q coming out from Vi as well. Not burning anything necessary, but being able to get Leona's flash, it seems like.
Big thing is the Suki in the top lane means that Bottom can't teleport away because he's just going to be able to stun him with his ultimate. So he's kind of landlocked up there. They're going to be a turret taken for SNHU, dropping the Rift Herald as well before they start to move over towards the Dragon Pit here. Dropping the Rift Herald right in front of their team, and uOttawa actually already grouped up here. A huge ultimate there from Malphite, and immediately we see a kill come out. A second one start to come through. Pancake still able to escape in with the stun, forced a flash under turret. That is such a huge win for uOttawa.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial for uOttawa coming out, but SNHU still has a gold lead.
They found 2 turrets too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Suki might get ran down by this Graves. Didn't really work out last time they tried to 1v1, so Suki might be a bit afraid of that.
2 dragons over to uOttawa once again. Very different level of objective control from what we're seeing last time. And that is really big for them here. This is going to be what keeps them in the game, is their objective control at the moment. SNHU able to find both of the Rift Heralds and 3 turrets is a pretty big deal, but these dragons are quickly going to become a problem. It is the Chem Soul this game, so uOttawa potentially looking to grab that. They're going to have a pretty big running start on SNHU to try and find that soul.
SNHU is going to have to be picking up a bit more objectives, except for Herald soon. It's still pretty even, though. No objective bounties have dropped yet. So, could still have something come out in the future. Yeah, SNHU still in the gold lead. Still about 1,000 up. But as mentioned before in last game, Dragons are about like 500 to 1,000 gold. So I say both these teams are very even right now. Oh, this might be a awful situation for Suki. If they can burst down the ante really quick, though, that might be perfect. We're able to do that. If they can get out or get this Graves into a sticky situation, that might be good. But yeah, Suki's just going to get picked up by that Graves. Gets the pick on the ante, though, which is good. Big fight happening in River, though. Vial will come out onto Draven. Absolutely amazing. Draven just barely dies, though, as well. And Broma is going to be able to get out that ult. Just barely getting chunked by that Malphite. Barely dying there. Yeah, and it looks like that's going to be a turn from uOttawa. Vi's just barely going to be able to get out, but that was Yeah, that was an insane pick by uOttawa.
This Malphite and the Graves are becoming such a big problem right now. This Malphite's 4-2, Graves 5-1, and they're continuously finding value in these team fights here. Seamonster has to worry about getting run down under his tier 2 turret while the tier 1 is still up. He's actually going to go in on this Malphite, try and find some damage right here. Suki's starting to go in on his own as well, and he is going to be able, just barely not finishing off this kill. He's on the brink of death, and he will get the shutdown now, but immediately falling once again. Suki down. It's now Zhao right in the middle of the lane versus Sea Monsters. Fire Spirit ended up going down again, but now this is such a bad engage. They have to back off again. As Draven just able to put out so much damage so fast, you cannot continue that chase.
Yeah, this is such an even game. Haven't seen a game this even in so long. Like, even though SNHU is theoretically like down in kills, that doesn't mean they're down in gold. SNHU still up. That's crazy to me.
They're doing a good job on farm, pretty overall. Especially look at mid lane right now. It's a lot of difference in farm, and in the top lane as well is where you're starting to see some of these really big gold differences come out.
That's an insane gold difference top.
It is, and this Malphite is still finding so much value right now. Only a very minor CS difference. Malphite has more kills, and Suki still has more gold.
How?
It has to be because of platings. 100%.
That literally has to be platings, or maybe Suki picked up one of the Rift Heralds. Maybe Suki picked up the first one or something. Yeah, unsure where that gold lead came from, but yeah. Looks like they're just clearing vision on Baron right now, maybe just setting up for it. Drag is going to be coming down in about a minute. This is going to be a huge pickup because if uOttawa gets soul point here, it's going to be a sticky situation for SNHU.
Yeah, they're really going to be forced into these team fights, and frankly, they're not quite ready for them yet. They really haven't found their stride in these fights, and it's been really tough for them in terms of actually finding value when they need to fight over these objectives. It's been a really, really big deal for them. A lot of the value that SNHU has found so far in this game has been when uOttawa have not been there. That's when they've been finding a lot of this value. Bottom in a weird spot right now where Suki able to transform, start to knock him over towards Sea Monsters, who's going in, but Zhao shows up on the scene, could potentially try and turn this. The counter gank comes through. Malphite will end up going down. Surprisingly, no one on SNHU has taken any damage at all. Teleport coming in as well. They really, really need this kill. Pancake right on the tail of Fire Spirit. Not going to let him get in there, but the Leon is so big. Suki and Sea Monsters forced to retreat, but Proma, he's right in there. He's going to be able to pick up 2 kills just like that. Fire Spirit going down again. That is a lot of death for uOttawa. 4 dead.
That was amazing for SNHU. They're able to pick up the Drake now. They're able to get a very powerful Drake, especially on like getting tenacity is so good with this team, especially when you have like Annie, Malphite, Leona, very good. And also being able to just completely demolish that gold lead is crazy. Maybe another kill's coming out. Just barely able to get away with that empowered blast cone. Absolutely amazing by SNHU to pick that up. Just played it exactly like they need. Now the kills are even, but the gold is like 3,000, 4,000 more.
Yeah, this is a really big change of pace for SNHU. They found their stride a little bit there, and it was off of some really great picks. They found uOttawa just overextended in that bot lane. They were able to punish that, and suddenly they've got a window here. Picks are how comebacks happen. If you're out of position even just a little bit there, and you get caught out by a full team that really wants you dead, that is such an easy way for the tides to turn here. And SNHU now, 4 of them have shutdowns at the moment, so a lot of power is starting to consolidate on their side.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with Proma being able to pick up a lot of those kills. Everyone who needs the kills has them. You know, Ori could be nice to have a lot of the kills, but Ori's not really one of those crazy type of one-shot characters. They're very utility-based, being able to get that ult pull. So, yeah, SNHU's getting it on Gnar and Vi and Proma, which absolutely need it. Are they starting Baron? No.
Well, they're just walking by, saying hi.
I was a bit scared for a second. Yeah, that
would have been a crazy Baron play.
Yeah, that would have been really weird. Oh, Suki coming up from behind.
This could be big.
Amazing pick. Being able to put Draven against the wall is absolutely massive. uOttawa's damage completely gone. Promo all being able to come out. Annie just is being caught over and over and over again, but Promo might get shut down. Just barely lives.
But him able to escape after finding one. Proma is still alive. He's still kind of around the area. I'd be very scared if I were him. But SNHU were able to find 3 kills off of that. And now they might go Baron. They're actually going over there. They're going for it.
Yeah, they're going for it. Proma's so low, though, that's super scary. Nautilus is going to have to tank a decent amount, and Proma's just looking for anything to lifesteal off of, hopefully. They might just call to back off there. Didn't really have enough damage from that ADC because Proma's just so low from Annie teleporting in.
It is Chemsoul Rift, so the Honey Fruit would be really big, but unfortunately there is just none nearby. And they saw someone recalling, so they know the Baron was a fake. They know they backed off of it, and they don't have to worry too much about that pressure being put on them right now. Still, SNHU proving that they can come out of these team fights in a very good way, but uOttawa at the same time really showing that if they need to blow someone up, they can. They do not take these team fights cleanly. They will make it messy for SNHU, and they will make sure that if SNHU want to gain anything, that they have to give up something.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting going into the future. SNHU has such a crazy gold lead, and the fights were so even when they were only a little bit up. Now it's going to be really hard if you can get these picks with Gnar ult. You know, Draven is such a powerful character, but Draven hasn't really scaled how they needed to, and Proma is 6-3 while Draven's 2-4. It's going to be really hard. Draven doesn't have Mythic. Just a solo kill?
Go off.
Go off,
yeah.
Suki.
Speak your truth, Suki. Let's go. That's another kill for SNHU right now, and another pick, which is very good for them because them just sitting in mid lane now, they are now exerting so much more pressure because uOttawa are a player down. And Zhao actually spotted out Toxic, making sure that he is really heavily pushed away.
They're just forcing.
They could try and fight this. I think SNHU might be really just going for a bait right here. Pancake just sitting down here in this bush. They're making sure they're not even trying to clear wards. They're really looking to try and find this. And actually spotted out the teleport, called out Suki. Now public enemy number 1. Bottom tries to find him here. SNHU really having a tough time getting through that choke. A lot of CC on them, and it looks like they're not going to find too much value off of that bait.
Yeah, not too much value off of it, but what's the harm in really doing it? You're still 5,000 gold up, didn't go down at all. Really had to just pause the game for a moment for that. Doing very well in this game right now. Being able to spot out that bait was good as well. Being able to just pull off once you saw that teleport. Very well conserved. Looks like Suki might try to go for something.
I think he's baring his fangs a little bit. He just wants him to know that he's there and that he could very easily go in if he really wanted to.
Yeah, definitely showing his presence on the map. Just really sort of a show of force.
This could be scary.
Oh my God.
Zhao is getting run down at the moment. Suki, he's able to find this, and he will be able to find that kill. That's the jungler down for uOttawa. They're going to continue to push them on out. With Dragon up as well, that's SNHU, who are heavily skewed towards finding this second Dragon. uOttawa are going to lose their Dragon lead if they don't find anything off this. Toxic going to pop the Zhonya's, trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Will be able to stay alive, but Pancake is right in the middle of everyone, and a lot of damage going down to QWQ, and a huge push there from Gnar. CMOS is able to pick up that first kill, a second, and a third come out from Proma as he finds a double kill. QWQ on the brink of death, forced to run away, and instead of getting Dragon, SNHU are going to take it one step better. They're going to take Baron.
And they might even be able to pick up Dragon off this. Gnar is doing it right now. Graves is up, though, so this is really scary. But, yeah, SNHU's this might be the end for uOttawa. uOttawa is very far down. Very amazing play by SNHU to claw this game back. It looked like SNHU was in a very sticky situation before that, but now 2 Dragons of tenacity into the team is so vital for SNHU. This is, yeah.
Tenacity is just going to make the Leona and the Graves and the Malphite do even less.
And Annie stun as well. Annie W isn't going to be able to do anything.
This is a great Dragon for them to have, and they have 2 stacks of it right now. If they continue to play these objectives, they can get up to 4. And that is so much tenacity for them. To the point where they're just going to be shrugging off everything that gets thrown at them in terms of stuns. A really great position that SNHU have put themselves in right now. They've built themselves a gigantic gold lead. Their objective control is amazing right now. They're taking a lot of great team fights off the back of these picks, and that alone has really just put them back in this game. They were behind for the first 20 minutes of this game.
Yeah, this is honestly like an amazing comeback by SNHU. Like when we say that comebacks don't usually happen like before the tournament, like players are definitely trying right now their best.
Oh yeah.
Like you usually only see like this type of play during those tournaments. And yeah, maybe Yusuke's going to find a solo kill here. Just barely getting caught out by Draven, though. Was able to pick up the Annie, though. That was a shutdown. That's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, Wave being pushed out.
Oh, bottom's in.
Oh.
Pancake is, I mean, he's not too scared right now. Fire Spirit also going in. Toxic's not going to get stunned by that.
Great ult.
Starting to go in. A lot of damage going out onto the Leona as well. Pancake sending that ult in onto Draven, forcing him back. The double knock up there for uOttawa, but Proma finds one. He's looking to find a second right there as QWQ just explodes. Zhao next up on the chopping block. Bought him not far behind as he gets taken down, and Sea Monster's diving in, not quite able to take that Graves before the turret forces him on back. He's okay to just sit back and siege this turret, though. They've got Baron buff right now. They're absolutely happy with taking this inhibitor, and they're also pushing up the bot lane.
Yeah, this could be end. They are really low, though. Yeah, but the hook onto the Graves, absolutely amazing. Even if Nautilus dies there, you're going to just be able to kill the last line of defense, and Annie is just so far behind at this point. Can't really do anything. TP is going to come out from Suki, being able to get in. Everyone's so low, though, but death timers, Draven's about to be up pretty soon. Will they be able to burst it down quick enough? They might be overextending. 3-man ult.
That's one dead. That's Ori down. Toxic falling. Sea Monster's so close to dead. Suki also just right in the middle of things, half health, but he is continuing to find this big damage, these big opportunities. Proma going in, able to find so much damage. He gets a double kill once again. Bot team starting to go in. Will be able to shut down, avenge his teammates there, but the Nexus is already at half health here. Suki just has to try and chunk it as fast as he can, and he's able to take it before Bot team can shut him down. SNHU will finish their season out 5-4, getting that positive scoreline that they wanted.
Absolutely amazing by SNHU there. I've never seen a comeback like that, since I've been casting. That was absolutely amazing. Very well played, being able to get those picks that were just so vital, and being able to work around 100%. Your comp better. It seemed like early on they didn't really know how to play around the team fights. They weren't really locking down that Draven enough, but then you just saw Vi just go in over and over and over again onto that Draven, and Suki going for some of the greatest flanks, going just from behind, getting Meganar, and just going in and ulting someone against the wall. Absolute amazing play.
The shot calling there for SNHU was on point 100% the entire time, right? The moment that an objective was up, it was like they found someone out of position every single time.
Yeah.
Within 15 seconds of them trying to force an objective, they were like, oh, this guy's out of position, kill him. And that worked every time. And
every single time.
Getting those picks is so instrumental to actually staging a comeback. uOttawa were in the lead for the first 20 minutes of that second game. Things were looking pretty bad for SNHU at some point.
Here's one thing to say, though, which is crazy. Even when SNHU was like behind tempo-wise, they were still up 1,000 in gold.
That's true.
Like, how are they up 1,000 in gold? Like, just platings?
And it wasn't even necessarily farm a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, it wasn't farm. It was just that Suki got like an entire tower's worth of platings. Had like, what, 4,000 gold on Malphite? That, like... Yeah, that's
is a silly amount of gold that they had that entire game. Even when they were behind by every other metric, they still had a gold leader. They were still staying competitive in that regard. A crazy match right there. GG's absolutely to uOttawa. Put it up a really amazing second game right there. But SNHU, I mean, they just look so strong this season. Super proud of these guys and their entire time playing over the last few months. 5-4, a pretty good scoreline to end the season out on. Remember, playoffs are next week, so be sure to keep an eye on our Twitter at SNHU Esports for any information about what's going on next week. Still, a lot of it's tentative, so keep your eyes on that. It's going to be a very fun, very chaotic, very messy week next week, but please bear with us. Playoffs are going to be a ton of fun. That's all for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more, our B stream is currently running, and we're going to rate it as soon as we close out. That is SNHU White versus Clark Gray. in their final match of the season. So definitely be sure to check that out after this. But that's all for us. We'll be back tomorrow with Overwatch Sapphire versus the UNH Chargers. Until then, have a good night and enjoy the B stream.
Have a good one.
Pancake, who is unfortunately taking a lot of damage, will end up going down now, a 3 versus 3. A lot of damage being spread across SNHU as they try and get in. Another kill comes out on the QWQ. It's a double kill as well. Dark will be the last one standing in a double.
In the early game and playing the map, trying their best. But great combo with Nautilus. A stopwatch coming out though. One Nautilus auto or VIQ will just seal it. I don't know if I think CMOS might be in a tough situation, especially with Lee Sin coming out, just barely hitting the end of that Vigar stun. But that Ari Everfrost was huge.
Nice.
Being able to get that Q, but the Vagar chunked Vi from half.
Nice.
Being able to get that Q, but the Vagar chunked Vi from half health. Ari might be able to get this kill though. A couple cooldowns are up. Charm.
Nice charm. That is so big, and he's able to get the kill. A place to be right now, and I think that is pretty fair. Morphosis in a bad spot now, goes into the death realm. Suki gonna have to try and take this fight into turret, and actually he's gonna take a lot of damage from this, but a perfectly timed Q and a good back out. Does find a lot of stuns. CMOS is very low, and he's actually gonna get killed by Baron there, as that is the jungler down for SNHU, but they're trying to turn this. They already found 2 kills, looking for 1 more. That's Lee Sin down, just Dark Utopia left. Just continuing on his killing spree. He's gonna find a second, a third ends up falling, and now they go back into the dragon pit. Lee Sin just can't escape. It's a triple kill for Suki. Out this dragon. It's just this Kennen left nearby. He's trying to go in on Toxic, but it's yanked back by Suki. Not much he can do except sit there in his stasis and watch that Mordekaiser mace. As he comes out of this, he's gonna get kicked away, but he's still holding on pretty well. He's got a big shield stocked up at the moment. Not gonna get executed by that. Gonna go ahead and spend his shield in there, but they're starting to turn on this, and they find a kill on a QWQ. The next one up is Zhao. It's gonna be Dark Utopia next, and a good charm is gonna shut down Cannon uOttawa. No one left standing. And he would have been in a very bad spot, and they're actually able to get under turret before Zhao shows up. Now we're seeing Bottom in a very weird position as Suki tries to go in, flashing in, will be able to pick up first.
It comes out, but Vi is right here where they need to be. All coming out, they might be able to get this shot down. Perfect.
Now Fire Spirit next up on the shopping block. He is not going to on the tail of Fire Spirit, not going to let him get in there, but the Leon is so big. Suki,
amazing.
Themos is forced to retreat, but Proma, he's right in there. He's going to be able to pick up 2 kills just like that. Fire Spirit going down again. Starting to go in, will be able to shut down, avenge his teammates there, but the Nexus is already at half health here. Suki just has to try and chunk it as fast as he can, and he's able to take it before Boadim can